First of all, Coach, I mean, 9-1 right now. I know when you started, obviously you kind of hoped that you kind of be where you're at this point in time. But just how do you feel this team is playing? Is y'all playing as good as that record indicates right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've played good teams. We've got quality wins. We're a good team. We've got work to do to get better. Obviously, offensively and defensively, turnover margin offensively. Little things defensively, but overall defensively, I think we're ahead of where we are offensively. But we've got good players, guys that like to work, and productive practices daily.
On that same note, is there anything that you've been pleasantly surprised by that you guys have done to this point?
Our culture, our chemistry, sacrifice, the humility of these guys that are coming off the bench especially. We've got 4 or 5 guys that are playing meaningful minutes off the bench, and that'll increase moving forward, right? They come in a game and they just produce. Dylan James comes to mind. Justin Absence, had a couple games where he didn't play much at all, and he was as big a factor as anyone off the bench in our last win. With his ability to play inside the zone and make those decisions. Dakota LeFew, off the bench is. He's one of our best players, and he's accepted that, when your opportunity comes, you produce, you control what you can control. So I love the mentality of our guys. Who knows what our lineups will look like moving forward and our rotation, starting and all that stuff. But to this point, our culture's been terrific.
How important is that depth, especially with SEC play looming and how well the league has played this year?
It's huge. I mean, it's the best league in the country by a large margin, and depth is prevalent throughout the whole league. I mean, it's mandatory, to keep up. We've gotten a lot better. We're just significantly better. I've said that for months, but so is most of the SEC.
I mean, you've been around this league a long time now. But I saw a stat before I came into the conference is 50-4 in December record-wise.
It's crazy.
And as far as against the ACC this year, 30-4 now with the South Carolina's win and Florida win yesterday. And you know what? So again, I know you got the 3 non-conference games to go, but when you do look ahead to what that conference schedule is going to be like, it's just going to be strong.
It's wild,
this year.
We better be ready, right? And but a ton of opportunities at the same time, and each one of these opportunities will help us grow too and help us get better. It's a process. It's a long SEC season, but it's right now it's Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
We've got practice today. We've got to get better today, and we've got a good opportunity tomorrow to see how we respond to the last win.
Well, De'Shayne Montgomery be part of this equation tomorrow night?
He will.
Okay.
He will. He's officially been cleared.
Mm-hmm.
Really excited for him. Excited for his teammates. He's fired up. Probably gonna have to slow him down a little bit when he gets to the game.
I was about to say, everybody you talk about his energy, the energy he brings. I mean,
he'll be fun to watch. I'm excited. Our whole staff's excited, and his teammates again are excited to see, what it's going to look like for him. Wearing the G, he's going to play hard as heck, and he's going to play with joy. That's how he approaches every day. And he's fun to coach. He's going to be a good addition to our team. He's a little bit different than our other backcourt guys. He complements them well. We've got to get him adjusted, to this level, of course, and to playing with these guys. It's all going to be new to him, but it's exciting at the same time.
Well, how will he help make this team better, specifically?
Intensity, competitiveness. He's a disruptive defender. Puts pressure on the rim offensively. He's versatile offensively. He adds another guard, again, who's a little bit different than the guys that have played to this point.
When you say different, just what kind of stands out as different compared to some of the other guys?
He's really athletic, again, really disruptive. He's got an ability. He's got great length, so he can play is he a 2, is he a 3, is he a 1? He's kind of all of them. He's very versatile. He's got some tire in him with his ability to get to the rim and finish at the rim. Excuse me, and he's got an ability to make things happen in transition. But defensively, his ability to pressure the ball and disrupt the ball, being passing lanes, blocking shots as a guard. He's just a little bit different than those other guys. They all have strengths and weaknesses.
What do you want to see out of him when he plays tomorrow night?
Just play hard, have fun. just do what he does every day in practice. Just have the carry over, be the same guy he is that he'll be today. Because I'll be shocked if he's not that same guy. He's been every day. Really consistent competitor.
How do you feel like he's handled the last, I guess, month and change, not being able to play, but still
unbelievably well? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that, so I can speak on it. The fact that he's not been able to play and wear the G and put a game jersey on. His readiness to compete, his energy in practice as soon as he steps between the lines every day has been evident. You're always challenging guys, guys out for a day with a rolled ankle or guys out with a cold. You still have to have an influence on this practice. You still have to mentally be a part of it. Let's not check out and then when you're physically 100%, all of a sudden you're a good teammate again. That's not how it works. He's epitomized that without even the long conversations, that he's done that on his own. That's just who he is.
Going back to Saturday, a big game from Santo, what have you seen from him, just the progress he's made to this point as a freshman?
Again, and I mentioned the other guys early, your bench guys, no one wants to be called a bench guy, but a guy who's coming off the bench currently, another guy that I should have mentioned early that's just had an unbelievable attitude, work ethic, growth mentality. He's just gotten better and better. He's coming off arguably his best game. And he's been good since in practice. He'll continue to get better.
As you get closer to conference play, what are some of the things that you'd like to see your team clean up a little bit specifically?
Turnovers.
Yeah.
And then 2 is turnovers and 3 is turnovers.
How do you do that in practice as you get closer to SEC play?
Trial and error. We're trying everything. We're past the making it mental. That about 3 weeks ago we said, hey, we got to just address it. We've got to talk about it. It's the glaring weakness as you study our metrics. Offensively for us, I think we're 54 today, and in certain categories we're pretty good. We are, and that one's glaring. I think we're about 320 right now. Now that said, we're playing a style where everybody touches it a lot, and the thing moves, and we've had some really pretty possessions. But then we have possessions sometimes where it could be a spacing issue. It could be just trying to do a little bit too much issue. That said, also we've played some really disruptive defenses too. So sometimes those numbers will just even themselves out. But it's an area that we're focused on. We will be today when we're between the lines, doing different drills, talking about it, watching film on it, individually and as a team. And our guys know it's an area of focus for us.
Is it like the inexplicable ones though? Just that kind of get on, bug you the most?
No, honestly, I've had a lot of teams where your turnover margin is better, or your assist turnover ratio is better, but you've got 4 or 5 loud ones a game where a guy just jumps up in the air and does something he can't do or doesn't have a plan. We don't have a lot of loud ones. We really don't. We've had our spacing's a little bit different. We're playing big, and so sometimes when there's less space on the floor to operate with, right? If your passes or your catches aren't on point, you're not crisp, your timing's off, your spacing's just a little bit off, it can cost you a little bit more with the spacing that we currently have. That said, when we don't turn it over and we're sharp offensively, we've got an ability to really crash the offensive glass with those 2 bigs in there and sprint to ball screens and play on the interior more effectively than if we were playing 4 or 5 out. So some of it is just what we're doing, and we'll continue to get better at it. It's new to all these guys.
I know you touched on Saturday and would have liked to have closed that game out a little bit better, but how important is to kind of get some of those games where you're fighting to the end to put teams away?
Yeah, it's huge. You want to win going away, when you can, but for us to be our best version, we have to win some close games. There's going to be a lot of close competitive games, not only with us, but with all these guys in the SEC throughout the SEC season. And we'll be able to reference some of the close ones that we've played, things we did well down the stretch, and things we could have done a little bit better.
Any other questions for Mike? All right.